Picture this. Birmingham, England, late 19th century. A gang emerges known for their distinctive attire and chilling practices. As the industrial heart of England pulses with energy and grit, an unsettling entity takes form in its backstreets. Meet the Peaky Blinders, a gang that would become infamous for their tailored suits, flat caps, and a chilling signature touch razor blades sewn into the peaks of their caps. This menacing fashion statement was not just for show. It was a weapon, a symbol of their ruthless nature, and a terrifying reminder of the power they wielded on Birmingham's cobblestone streets. Their formation was no accident. Born out of the dire social conditions of the late 19th century, the Peaky Blinders were made up of disillusioned, impoverished young men, many of whom were former factory workers. They were drawn together by the allure of power, the promise of wealth, and the thrill of living outside the law. Their criminal activities were as varied as they were nefarious. Gambling, for instance, was one of their main sources of income. They operated illegal betting shops, exploiting the working class's love for horse racing. They were also involved in robbery, targeting wealthy individuals and businesses. Their audacity and ruthlessness soon earned them a fearsome reputation. But it wasn't just about the thrill of the heist. The Peaky Blinders also ran protection rackets, offering their services to local businesses. In exchange for a fee, they would ensure the business was safe from other gangs and thieves. It was a twisted form of insurance, one that cemented their control over the city. Their criminal enterprises were daring, their attire distinctive, and their methods chilling. Yet this was just the beginning of their story. The Peaky Blinders were poised to expand their influence, to rise from the back streets of Birmingham to the heights of criminal power. This was only the beginning of the Peaky Blinders' notorious reign. As time went on, the Peaky Blinders expanded their influence, becoming a force to be reckoned with. The early 20th century was a time of transformation for the gang as they began to stretch their wings beyond the slums of Birmingham. Their reach extended into the lucrative world of horse racing. The Peaky Blinders, known for their ruthless efficiency and cunning, quickly dominated the betting rings. They used their influence to control outcomes, rigging races, and ensuring their pockets were always lined with the winnings. It was a dangerous game, but one that the gang played well, solidifying their position as the undisputed rulers of the underworld. But it wasn't just the racing rings that saw the rise of the Peaky Blinders. The streets of Birmingham became a battleground as the gang fought to maintain their dominance. They clashed with rival gangs, their battles often turning bloody. The Peaky Blinders, however, were not to be outdone. Their reputation for brutality, honed on the back streets of small heath, ensured they were not a group to be trifled with. At the helm of this growing empire was Thomas Gilbert. A charismatic and ruthless leader, Gilbert was the driving force behind the gang's rise. He was a man who knew how to play both sides of the law, deftly navigating the murky waters of the underworld and the local police. His ability to hold the reins of such a volatile group while keeping the law at bay was a testament to his leadership. Despite their criminal activities, the Peaky Blinders were not without their allies. The local police, often in the gang's pocket, turned a blind eye to their deeds. The lines between law and lawlessness blurred, with the Peaky Blinders sitting comfortably in the gray area. The Peaky Blinders had become a household name, synonymous with fear and respect. Their rise to power was a tale of cunning, ruthlessness, and sheer determination. By the early 20th century, the Peaky Blinders were not just a gang, they were an institution, a symbol of the harsh realities of life in the underworld. The onset of World War I brought new challenges and opportunities for the Peaky Blinders. With the world's attention diverted towards the front lines, the Peaky Blinders took advantage of the chaos on the home front. The war economy presented a fertile ground for their illicit activities, particularly in the black market. They traded in everything from rationed goods to military supplies, exploiting the scarcity created by the war. This wasn't just a business for them, it was a chance to expand their influence, to carve out their own corner in a world turned upside down. The war, however, was not all about profit for the Peaky Blinders. Many of their members enlisted in the armed forces, trading their street-smart cunning for military discipline. They served bravely and faithfully, their experiences on the battlefield shaping them in ways they could not have imagined. The horrors they witnessed, the lives they took, and the comrades they lost left indelible marks on their psyche. They returned home not as the same street thugs, but as hardened veterans, forever changed by the brutality of war. But even amidst the tumult of war, the Peaky Blinders did not lose sight of their roots. They leveraged their newfound military skills and connections to strengthen their hold on the streets of Birmingham. They became more organized, more ruthless, and more ambitious. The war had given them a taste of power beyond the confines of their neighborhood, and they were eager for more. The Peaky Blinders didn't just survive the war years, they thrived. They turned adversity into opportunity, chaos into order. They exploited the war for their own gains, but also bore its costs. Their members came back scarred, both physically and mentally, but their resolve only grew stronger. The war had shown them what they were capable of, and they were determined to push those boundaries even further. The war years only served to solidify the Peaky Blinders' power and influence. Every reign must come to an end, and the Peaky Blinders were no exception. As the dust of World War I settled, the Peaky Blinders found themselves navigating an increasingly treacherous landscape. Their once unchallenged reign began to crumble under the weight of new challenges. The Roaring Twenties brought with it an influx of rival gangs, itching to snatch a piece of the underworld pie. Each new contender was more ruthless than the last, and the streets of Birmingham became a battleground once more. The Peaky Blinders, once the kings of the urban jungle, were now fighting to maintain their grip on a kingdom that was slipping away. The battles were fierce, the losses heavy, but the Blinders' resilience was not to be underestimated. They fought tooth and nail, refusing to go down without a fight. However, the tide was turning, and they were swimming against a relentless current. The pressure from law enforcement was another significant blow. The police were no longer turning a blind eye to their activities. Raids became frequent, arrests became commonplace, and the once untouchable Peaky Blinders were feeling the heat. The walls were closing in, and the empire they had built was on the brink of collapse. Yet, as the sun set on their reign, the legacy of the Peaky Blinders was far from extinguished. In fact, it was just beginning to take root. Their story, filled with grit, determination, and an undeniable allure of danger, captured the imagination of the world. In popular culture, the Peaky Blinders are immortalized. Their tale is retold in books, films, and television series, painting a vivid picture of a bygone era. The characters, though fictionalized, echo the spirit of the original gangsters, their charm and menace striking a balance that keeps audiences hooked. The Peaky Blinders, despite their fall, left an indelible mark on history. Their saga, a testament to their audacity and tenacity, serves as a stark reminder of a time when lawlessness reigned and gangs like them ruled the streets. Though their reign ended, the legend of the Peaky Blinders lives on. What started as a small gang in Birmingham became a phenomenon that left an indelible mark on British history. From their humble beginnings, the Peaky Blinders rose to power, their influence infiltrating the very core of the city's social structure. Their ascent was not without its trials. They navigated the turbulent waters of World War I, their activities during this period amplifying their notoriety. Yet, despite their resilience and cunning, their reign was not to last. The subsequent years saw their power wane, their influence diminishing until they were but a whisper of their former selves. However, their decline did not erase their imprint on history. Instead, it served to cement their legacy, their story woven into the fabric of Birmingham's history. The Peaky Blinders, a name that echoed through the streets of Birmingham, continues to captivate us, a testament to their enduring legacy.